How can something as beautiful as this be dying? A plague is ruining the land, but the tree of life still stands. Question is, for how long? End is coming to the new world. The tribes stand divided, in need of someone strong enough to unite them, or bring them all down. This is a story with an unusual beginning. So, let's expect an unusual end. Welcome to Encode your DNA. Define your genetic structure. Choose a genetic resilience. Choose your fur style. Pick your main color. Choose your detail color. Pick a class. Deadeye chosen. Sounds good. Here's somebody with a troubled past, drawn into the spotlight of a story that's already begun. We're already at a cross, but for you, it's not only a crossroad, but a choice. A reflection of your key, the primal energy that flows through everything.
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the dark side.
So glad you realize who you really are. Let's keep to the bright and better path moving on.
You can't
Because...
But remember...
Guess left can be right sometimes. Stories of death and the bodies left behind. A reminder that we're at the mercy of nature and the one that preys on others. Do you remember the beast that shattered your family? Or did you choose to forget? You turned your back on our world and got lost in your own. Meanwhile, the predator only grew stronger. for it. This is not the time nor place to end this story. This time, it was best to run and live to fight another day. Let us hope you're ready for it when it comes. The Predator isn't the only threat. The wildlife started to mutate when the end of days began, and the Tree of Life started to die. The oil sludge is everywhere. To most, it only means death, but some have adapted to the new environment and changed with it. Evolution has its ways. Look, an emergency box from the once was. A rare sight. That pipe looks weak. The claw bar should come in handy. Whoa! It's time to find a way out of this place. No, really, I mean it. The Morks produce biomatter in their multi-organ that they shed under distress. Blobs that affect the cellular coding strands of any living being when absorbed, including you. Sharp steel. Every little bit helps. Keep hauling yourself into the air. Toxanol built vessels called arks to save themselves from the impending doom. But was it too late? It is only from the flight logs of the single ark they left behind that we know other arks traveled through the sky and beyond. It seems those that came before us never lost hope in finding a new home for their kind. There are few records of the chain of events that led to the big apocalypse eons ago, but it's clear the world wasn't prepared for how recklessly the Toxanol Corporation would make its mark on the world. Their rare earth mining and nuclear industries generated tons of waste, and without consideration for the future, they dumped it all in landfills until they ran out of space. That's when they made the big mistake. They began dumping the toxic waste in the surf just off the coast instead, assuming that it would sink and decay with time. And they were right. But no one was prepared for what was about to unfold. Once in the surf, the radiation interfered with the genetics of the wildlife and created bizarre mutations in their offspring. It had an inconceivable impact on biodiversity and the entire ecosystem. The world as they knew it crumbled as nature retaliated. It would never be the same again, and what remained of it became ours. The sound of spark metal going pew-pew is never a good thing. It's coming from behind that door. A warning label. The box looks like a potential brain melt. It's going to take a bit of puzzling to short-circuit the door. Just a few moves left. Make them count. There you go. The wheeled one is outnumbered. You'd better help him out. Took care of him. Cut down. That's the last of them. Let's talk to the wheeled one before backup arrives.
Iatu iau mawa oloi bobo paweg.
He wants...
Tolo mawa wanya befabi hita hun tukub kirko.
He presents himself as out of date. He knows he's way overdue, but he hasn't given up.
Hunto kun tue pon yevun goja.
He doesn't seem surprised.
Tolo mawa wanya the wata.
There have been rumors of a one-eyed Ronin seen outside the Great Wall, and he's happy to see it's true.
Pilf of ugvuhu obra boom.
The child could have been anyone, but the evil it had fled had left a mark, a facial scar to remember the past.
Koyetu koweboi ba no yualu.
It's a scar you're covering under that eye patch, isn't it? But he would have recognized you anyways. You look exactly like your Muma.
Ba lo yua, to lo woya, lo ya lo bato to huai, yavofo lola lofo.
He says it has taken you a long time to bring the past back up to the present.
Ko bubuya buy.
It was after the attack that the unity fell apart. Your Muma's disciples divided and formed tribes as a reaction to the blight that had fallen upon the land.
Taimis to huai, ba lo wotolo.
The impending threat of the World Eaters bringing down the Tree of Life is ever so close. He also worries about the Jagni tribe that's actively working for a doomsday and purging of the world.
Vunko vuntu.
Asks if you were tired, as it's a bit of a hike here from the village. He wonders if your Muma knows you are here. He understands why you came all the way out here, to see them. The potato people, or Nono, are a wonder, somehow interlinked with this little tree here, fueling its source of life. Magic? He claims it's just the force of life, the existence of energy, powering and connecting all things living, like the Nono. The Nono's key energy is just what the Pensai needs. The small tree you saw up there where you met will eventually grow into a tree of life and start giving back to nature. It'll be the heart of the land. You need to support. You'll need a net. You handle that net like you've never done anything else. He's impressed. He's grateful for all the help he can get. There's lots of Nono out there that need... Oh, it'll need a continuous flux of ki over the 12 months to come, so... countless, he'd say. One day, he hopes the tree will have grown tall enough to sustain the world. He says you'd better hurry back to the village before your Mooma comes looking for you. You did good here today. That's not true. He lost you there for a while, but no memory is alone. It's part of a trail you can follow. He says he remembers every single day he devoted to growing the tree up. The tree started to die when the end of days begun. Records tell of the ruinous devastation the Toxanol Corporation inflicted on the land. The apocalypse sparked a re-evolution, the second coming, and our. His friend Gizmo is working on a Mekton and needs help defeating the Jumbo Puff at the end of the West Route. Wiz is still repairing his octopod to confront the Merc Puff that dwells deep down under the surface at the end of the Northwest Route. Noko has tamed the midget and is preparing to take on the Hoof Puff at the end of the East Route. Finally, Goop is almost done with the Goo Glide, a machine able to ride the waves of the surf all the way out to the Porky Puff at the end of the route to the southeast. Out of Date says his friends are gearing up to stop the World Eaters. There's one at the end of each route. The road ahead won't be easy, but he's counting on your support. His friends aren't strong enough. He wants you to understand that you'll all die if the tree isn't saved. He claims names have power, so he gave them these names to weaken them. For him, the Porky Puff is particularly personal. It was that carnivorous beast that took his leg. Regardless, you'll meet again once you've played your part in the tribe war and the situation with the World Eaters. You're getting the hang of it. Quickest way out is through the roof where they came in, and the rope looks strong enough to climb. Know that the Tree of Life is dying. Its days are numbered. Without help, it can't endure the environmental change and assault from the World Eaters. Shrug it all off. A signpost maps it out for the cartographically challenged. Let's see. Must be the World Eater that chewed off Out-of-Date's leg. You'll need a hat trick to bring that down. The World Eaters have made their marks on our world over time. That's not the first nor the last village it'll leave in its wake. Look, a survivor. Glad to see someone made it out alive. He's heard the stories about He worries there won't be much left to save if this can... Anyway, he needs help and says it's by your actions you'll be judged, not by your intentions.
That's a spark of light in you!
What's there to like about...
Not as much as it...
Always making...
And you're...
There's Out of Date again. He must have missed something important. The Myriad's conviction to stop the World Eaters began when the Leviathans rose from the depths of the surf. Siding with the Myriad's movement for wholeness in a fragmented world might seem like the logical thing to do, but is it the right thing? One thing's certain, though. Destiny arrives all the same. The Jagni tribe only ever had one conviction: to bring balance to the world by wiping out the weak. They believe a cleansing is necessary to restore the world and want to let the World Eaters bring down the Tree of Life. But siding with Jagni isn't necessarily a bad thing. Fate will find a way. Out of Date says he believes the tribe's Sifus, Myriad especially, will listen to you and expects you to pay at least one of them a visit and play your part. He can sense you share Myriad's view on the world. The Myriad would embrace someone willing to fight against the tyranny of the Jagni. Out of Date will be waiting for you beneath the Tree of Life if you lose track of what you need to. Regardless. Another fork in the road. It's either the tunnel or the motor bridge. What'll it be? It's a bridge. Just get over it. They've destroyed this area, muddied up what used to be muck, as if it wasn't bad enough before the tribe war began. That's the Jagni tribe's fort. Their friendship can be a blessing or a curse. It's up to you. You're either a part of their solution to the tribe war, or part of the problem. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. Wonders why the Sifu...
Zata is de muy totloho. Kariesne statse. Paro, yaput.
The Jagni tribe wants to become omnipresent and, most importantly, feared. They want to vanquish the tribes, as the only way they can guarantee peace is through supremacy. The Sifu is determined to let the World Eaters destroy the Tree of Life, as it's part of their strategy to cleanse the world and start anew.
Naoko onis polokno ankremo.
He welcomes
Naoko kiza nibira.
the news of a cold-blooded Ronin crossing the Great Wall through the crack in
Orzekali. Você si.
the wall.
Você si. Oko. Paro.
He understands that sometimes we need to lose ourselves to find ourselves. But he's glad you chose to come here.
Onis porenos odlisini. Yaput.
Sometimes one memory can make another come to life.
Onavoch ni tlohoni. Tulo.
Your Muma invented Wang Fu.
Zum ilam dat nete inatovo.
The
Ives yete reklidekle. Odlisini novai.
Jack says there is some darkness in the best of us, even you, and suggests you embrace that side of you and help them vanquish the tribes and let the World Eaters destroy the Tree of Life.
Ives yete reklidekle. Zanamach.
He had a feeling you'd say that. You're not sinister enough to be a Jagni. That big heart of yours makes you weak. He'll give you a chance to change your mind before you leave and asks you to reconsider. Otherwise, you'll be seen as a rival.
Na zena kas privatne? Kariesne statse.
Then so be it. He wants you to know that they'll show no mercy at the end of this war, and offers you a last chance to come back and join when you realize you've picked the wrong side.
Zum ilem dat nete skuni.
And with that, he urges you to seek protection at Myriad Stone Fort before word gets out that you've chosen not to side with them.
Tankremo.
He disagrees, and the day...
Del novazi ale dlohodo.
That's the Myriad Tribe's fortress. Will they be friends or foe? You should head up there. That way you'll know. It's a beaten path to that door. If you go there, you'd better make an entrance. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. Points out that the Sifu has a tight schedule, but is willing to let you in and find out if he has an open slot.
Sibi? Lappanen aginkan man. Geratna fal hutut mustugai la wute.
The Myriad tribe act on understanding of the greater good and a code of honor. They believe uniting the tribes is the only way to restore the peace. The Sifu is convinced that defeating the World Eaters and saving the Tree of Life is the only way to make the world a better place. He welcomes you to the Myriad Fort and introduces himself as the tribe's Sifu. But he was hoping you'd show up. The news of a vigilante Ronin on crusade crossing the Great Wall through the crack in Bunker 101 has preceded you. The wall that separates... He's convinced... The Sifu says sometimes... The Sifu was waiting for something to tip the balance in their favor, and with you by their side, he's confident you can unite the other tribes.
follow Marati. Oh, na.
The myriad were placed here to fulfill a certain purpose, chosen to unite the tribes and take control of their destiny. The tribes need a firm hand guiding them into the future.
Must follow Marati, Roplach.
Their kin have run out of options and found themselves backed into a corner. Even those who desire peace have been forced to prepare for war.
Schleine verrotna mika, la fanen ag.
He wants you to focus. These are the new rival outposts your tribe needs to take control of. He says you'll regret not being on their side. The only way you'll learn their secrets, Wung Fu and the tribe weapon now, is if you defeat him. And that will never happen.
Gel denken of wood ja.
You both have gentle minds, so they won't.
Gel it not, la fanen agin kan man. What?
Once you've dealt with the rivals' outposts, you'll challenge their Sifu to unite their tribe with your.
Thinking.
They passed the point of no return,
Get a one thing.
seeing you bring.
Must guy la wood there.
Myriad wants you.
Get a work. Vale wala papa.
He remembers.
Vale wala papa.
Anyway, the memories you make with your family are strong, and
Buka man lo sada.
he can't blame you for not remembering. Better beware, that's a monk up ahead. They were hit hard by evolution, the wonky ones especially, deformed and unfurred. time is lost on this place, but it evokes a tingling sensation. There's something special about it, drawing you closer. Let's see. As time passes, memories fade, and sometimes feelings change. It's not about who you were, it's about who you'll become. This story is far from over. Echoes of a long-lost past, like whispers. Here's someone who takes each day as it comes. He asks how you are today. Then he wants you. He wonders. He thinks you should really know how to swim. Why not? There's. He says, that wasn't too bad, was it? At least. But you need practice. Lots of. He's sure you'll have to face the consequences of that sooner or later anyway. You just need more time in the surf. That's the only way you'll ever learn how to swim. He knows that's not true. You've just made up your mind you're not. Judging by your Muma's look, it seems you forgot something. You promised you'd train with her before the sun goes down. The dedication to training is important. You can't rely solely on the fact that Wang Fu is in your blood. You should know. Practice makes... She'll see you at the village square. Here's another familiar face with lots on his mind. Asks how you're feeling today. His only interest when creating is that what... He was hoping you could help him pick up... He... You should look... He wonders what usefulness you found. He says whatever it is, he can work wonders with almost anything and asks if you know how to upcycle. That's the spirit. You can't make a difference unless you get... You did well, but he can't help but wonder why you decided to craft a weapon. He appreciates those able to deliver a sharp remark. He understands, but hopes you won't be He thinks mastering... It looks like she's starting to lose her patience.
Asil natu.
You know she doesn't like waiting for you. She wants to see you on...
Gendrana mala. Pendri andro.
She wants you to...
Kanaruta. Masamal.
She won't live forever.
Taifanamenuma. Do male tuk.
You've all...
Tate ko baba sakting.
She wants you... They look determined. Better watch out. He asks you to stop right there and wonders where you... He says that it's not too late for you to turn back, though. There's no way they'll let you pass. He wants to know who you think you are. You'll have...
Pial tuma.
She asks if you're hurt. What happened?
Tate ko baba sakting.
She's there for
Kanamunta.
the most important.
Pala.
It's time.
Kanamunt. Vaiseno kasaman warut.
Here's someone close to heart, doing what he does best. Seeing you always puts a smile on your Popsy's face. He wants to know how you're feeling. Training with Muma will... He asks if you could help him. He'll talk to her, sure, but he's... He's curious to see what you've found. He says whatever it is, he can work wonders with pretty... Says at least dirty... He's... The style might be too edgy for his taste, but it looks sharp on you. Agrees. At least that way it'll never go out of style. You should take it with you. Wear it to practice.
Rumble marsamon.
Your Muma says it's about time you got here.
Monibasa.
Oops.
Monibasa. Kial ariaroche nui mumera. Puri kumbala muma.
But there's enough time left for repetition, and you need it. Training dummies don't hit back.
Kodotuku.
Wants you to prove that with...
Tate ko baba sakting.
Your Muma says you did well today. She's so...
Kodotuku.
That's all she...
Masama. Taifanama sana yode. Can't see.
You should go see him and find out what it is. You've deserved it.
Anora kapapum.
That's why... Catchy.
Bialtuma.
Your Muma says she's never seen an apple.
Asil natu.
Figuring that,
Polakudo. Amun. Kanaruta.
it's called an automaton, and it's hardwired to your...
Pendrine senema.
Says it's...
Ferena masalapu.
Your Muma says you look...
Kialduma le kanarutuno.
Says a good rest makes you ready for tomorrow. Rest, and you'll find strength for tomorrow. Nothing could stop Lupa Lupin from setting the world on fire. Your Muma urges you to blaze a trail. A burnt kidling will learn to dread fire. That's just adding fuel to the flames. Give it a last burst and you'll make it. Your Muma says this is it. The time has come.
Ferena masalapu.
He wants to...
Ala. Aplitonuta. Volatsana yode.
She tells you to stay back. This is her fight. It has nothing to do with you.
Tate ko baba sakting. Monibasa.
She loves how... Here it comes. The past coming to haunt the present. You must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Your Muma says you can make it if you believe in it. Where she goes, you go. Blood is thicker than water. You're in deep surf. Don't make waves. The surf goes where it wants to go. It'll take you to the shore as long as you go with the flow. Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you. The creature is hungry for more. Nothing is going to stand in its way now. If a sacrifice is made for someone else, it's not lost, but passed on to the next. Life must go on. Real sacrifice comes from love and necessity, when all other options are exhausted. The ultimate test of conscience is the willingness to give up anything to save what you truly care about. What you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for your kin remains and makes you immortal in their memory. As the moment fades and is lost, the only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on.